ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ऋकारस्वन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्ट्वागुंसस्तनूभिः विषेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ प्रज्ञानां शुप्रधानैः स्थिरचरनिकरव्यापिभिर्व्याप्य लोकान् भुक्त्वा भोगान् स्तविष्टान् पुनरपि दिशनोद्भासितान् कामजन्यान् पीत्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् स्वपति मधुरभुङ्मायया भोजयन्नः माया संख्यातुरीयं परममृतमजं ब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि। लीयते हि सुषुप्तौ तत् निगृहीतं न लीयते तदेव निर्भयं ब्रह्म ज्ञानालोकं समन्ततः। अजमनिद्रमस्वप्नम् अनामकमरूपकं सकृद्विभातं सर्वज्ञं नोपचारः कथञ्चन। We were seeing the difference between Sushupti and Brahmalaya or Nigrihita. Nigrihitatvam. What is the Prachara Bheda? How is it different? How is the Brahmanishta or a Nigrihita Manaha? How is it different from the deep sleep, Sushupti? What is the Prachara Bheda? How does it? What is the what is that experience? Okay, and it was discussed that in the case of Sushupti, there is the Avyakrita, the Avyakta aspect of the whole Jagat, which is there in the seed form. So all the Dvaita effects, okay, the all the Mithya Bhuta Samsara is there in the deep sleep as a Tamograsta. Okay, Antarlina Aneka Anartha Pravritti Bija Vasana Vataha Manasaha. So the Anartha Bija is still there in the case of the deep sleep. Whereas in the case of Atma Laya, which is the Nishta, it was shown that Atma Satya Anubodha Huta Utasha Viplushta Avidyadi Anartha Pravritti Bijasya Niruddhasya. Like that, it was shown that the whole Atma Satya Anubodha blunts the seed. Technically, the seed cannot sprout again. So the whole effect, the Anartha Prapancha doesn't come back. So you still see a dual Jagat, but the Satyatvam of the duality is gone because you are all the time in the Surupa only. You don't identify yourself with an individuality or the Jivatvam because it has been falsified. And then, so in the next verse, it was actually shown, Liyate hi sushuptau, tan nigrihitam na liyate. So in the case of Nigrihita Manaha, na liyate tadaiva. In sushupti then na liyate, whereas in the case of nigrihitam liyate, there is a laya in swarupa. Okay, yasmat sarvabhihi avidyadi pratyaya bija vasana bihi saha tamo rupam avisesha rupam bija bhavam apadyate. तद विवेक विज्ञान पूर्वकम निगृहीतम निरुद्धम सत न लीयते तमो बीज भावम न आपद्यते. Okay, so this liyate is in the form of the tamo bijatvam. The tamo bijatvam is there only in the case of sushupti and it is not there in the case of the nigrihita manaha. So tadeva nirbhayam brahma jnanalokam samantatah. I think we briefly saw this jnanalokam and started the next verse. Okay, so there we can quickly run through it again. Yada grahya grahaka avidya krita maladvaya varjitam. The grahya grahaka is the, like we saw last time, right? Atma anatma now is grahya grahaka. So we have been seeing that throughout. So that avidya krita maladvaya varjitam. Dvayam here is dvaita bhava being gone. Tada paramadvayam brahmayeva tat samvritim संवृत्तम इत्यतः तदेव निर्भयं द्वैतग्रहणस्य भयनिमित्तस्य अभावात्. So we saw that bhaya is samsara only. So then see, we were there in Ayodhya 1 year back, me and Jai Shankar ji. Then he was talking about Atma, this whole Jagat being dukkha and all that. Then this was to some teachers we both addressed, and when Jaishankar ji was addressing, he said dukkha and all that. Then two teachers said, no, we don't agree, we have no dukkha at all. Okay, so why are you saying there is dukkha? I am happy only. So you are superimposing an a non-existing dukkha on us. Okay, that is so. That is because, see, once you ask, Swamiji used to say, whoever says like this, ask them one more question. If you keep talking to them after 5 minutes, slowly all the dukkha will anyway emanate. Okay, so similarly, this bhayam, why I was talking is, when you say nirbhayam, then immediately people will say, no, I have no bhayam, I am not afraid of this, Jagat and all that. That is, the fear is not technically only fear. The whole samsaritvam is a fear only. Any dvaita, fear means it's again, it stands for so many other things. Okay, so it's upalakshana only. The whole dukkha, everything. See, fear is always there, no? Fear of death. The moment you see a snake, there is fear. Okay, when you are in a comfortable state, there is no fear. So only when people come in touch with certain realities, they are shaken, and that happens to everybody. Okay, so it's not that somebody can be fearless throughout life. That's all just because predominantly you are in a comfortable state, we say that. But again, so what if, even if fear comes once in a while on certain things, that is not the point. The whole samsaritvam itself is a fear only, in a sense, because it creates uh, a lack of steadiness in you. Okay, because all the time you are dependent on certain circumstantial strength. Okay, so you are, today you say you are fearless because you feel that you have adequate wealth to protect you. You have certain relationships which can keep you emotionally stable. So all these external things is where you feel you are rooted on, and that gives you that strength. Okay, and that is the one which actually will create a bhaya in you when things don't go in favor of you. Okay, so now whatever you feel is the cause of strength itself becomes a cause of fear. And the samsaritvam anyway creates a sense of instability in you, because all the time things are changing. Okay, and like I was saying, I think in one of the sessions, even a small cricket match you makes you so much bhaya. If your favorite team is playing, when Sachin Tendulkar, when I used to watch, when Megra starts running towards Sachin in a World Cup, you have a fear, right? Especially the initial, until he settles down. Oh, what will happen? So that kind of a fear is there in every small thing. every now and then. Okay, but here the bhayam is a large bhayam. We are talking about the whole birth and death, what will happen, everything is a bhaya. So now this bhaya is about your own existential stress. Okay, existential fear, whether I will survive this world. We kind of ignore certain things. Okay, that's why we all live. When you think that, okay, what happens to me after a certain age? Do I survive death? Am I going to really die? These kind of questions we generally just you know keep it aside. Honestly speaking, when people are all, so there is this yaksha prashna question, right? What is the greatest wonder? So Dharmapatra says, despite seeing so many people dying around oneself, a person feels he is going to live forever. Okay, that is because actually atmataha you are nitya, and without recognizing it, people you know think that they are nitya. Because if we inherently don't have the nityatvam, this cannot come, right? This kind of a feeling, because you are seeing every so many people dying every day, and we know that. I mean, if you ask a question, everybody will say, "Yeah, yeah, I know. I'm going to die one day," right? Nobody is going to deny that. They know, but it is known superficially. The moment you actually start thinking about it, who am I, right? I am just suddenly woke up one day. There is a world, and I am told you are this person's son, whatever, and one day this kind of entity is not going to be there. Now you start thinking about it. Are we true beings, or we are only like a flicker somewhere, right? So all these can create a certain disturbance. So psychologically we just leave them behind and then keep moving, right? So our own parents, grandparent, whatever, right? We would have seen people who are sitting and talking with us are no more there, have not been there for years now. So it's the same case. So anything can be a cause of fear. The moment you start investigating it, right? So the nirbhayatvam, people who claim, it's all because they are just seeing a temporary phase and then claiming that. Same thing with the dukkha also. So I mean, we are not saying all the time everybody is dukkhi. That is not the thing. But the samsaritvam itself is a kind of dukkha. And how do you know that? Once you come out of it, then you will know whatever stress you are having itself worthless. It's not worth anything, because there was no reality to whatever you were worrying about. And that itself is actually dukkha. But since people are used to it, they think they are not dukkhi. Okay, it's like scratching a healing wound. You feel like scratching it and feel a happiness, pleasure in doing that. But actually speaking, it's just, you're just coming out of a pain, and since it is drying, it is giving you a sensation which you seem to enjoy, right? Like there is another example which is said, a dog biting a bone. Okay, dog, when it bites the bone, its own mouth starts bleeding. Okay, and then it tastes it, and then it thinks that, oh, the bone has so much blood in it, and it is so tasty. But as such, it is tasting itself. So like that, this whole nityatvam is your swarupa only. But you think this individual jiva is nitya because of all the things which are provided by external entities. द्वैतग्रहणस्य भयनिमित्तस्य अभावात् निर्भयम्. So nirbhayatvam you will gain, asamsaritvam will gain only dvaitagrahanam goes away. Shantam abhayam brahma yad vidwan na bibheti kutaschana. Abhayam brahma vidwan, the one who sees the fact that the Brahman is abhayam, that person na bibheti from anything. Tadeva viseshyate. Nyaptihi jnanam atmasvabhava chaitanyam. So this jnanam alokam, again we have already seen. So nyaptihi eva jnanam, the swarupa jnanam we are talking about. Tadeva jnanam alokah prakashaha. Yasya It is Nitya Prakasha Swarupa. Tad Brahma Jnanalokam Vijnana Ekarasa Ghanam Ityartha. Ekarasa Ghanam means what it is. There is no flickering. It's not Buddhists say Kshanika Vijnanam, or it's not a flow of thought we are talking about. Ekarasa Ghanam means it is like a single, all the time it's a still same flow of awareness. The Naingate Sopama Smrita kind of thing. Okay, the light of the sun. All the time, just its Swarupa is that, like the heat, right? The fire's Swarupa is heat, whether something is burning or not. Like that, it is Ekarasa Ghanam, that is your Swarupa. Everything else, because of its becomes a fuel. The Maya becomes a fuel because of which everything is dancing. There is no dance. Okay. The dance is only from a Jagat perspective. The Chit Sabha, Natanam and all that is only after Maya has come in. So therefore Nataraja is like Mahavishnu because he is along with Shakti only. Otherwise he is Shiva Linga only. Like he is Ekarasa Ghanam. He is just one consciousness bundle. Okay, Ghanam means Ganamiva. Okay, there is no bundle and all that. There is no scale. That's only thing which exists is that. Samantadaha Samantat Sarvato Vyomamad Nairantaryena Vyapakam. Okay, so Nirantara Vyapakam Sarvataha Vyapakam. So spatially and time wise it pervades. That's what it means. Samantataha Sarvataha Vyomavate and Nairantaryena without any gap. So you can say Nairantaryena without any gap spatially everywhere. Or you can also add Nairantarya is Nirantara from a time perspective, Nitya. So spatially and time wise it is Vyapakam because it is the cause of the time and the space. Ajamanidram Aswapnam Anamakam Arupakam Sagrid Vibhatam Sarvajnam Nopacharaha Katanchana. Ajam, that which is not born. Anidram, which is never sleeping. Okay. So Aswapnam, we will see all this by Bhashyakara explaining. Aswapnam, it doesn't dream also. Okay. Anamakam, Aswapnam, Anamakam, Arupakam. It has no name nor form. Sagrit Vibhatam, always it is effulgent. Okay. All the time it is only Bhaswarupam. It's in the form of that which lights up everything. Sarvajnam, Sarvascha, Nyascha, you can say, or Sarvam Janati also you can say. Nopacharaha Katanchana. Naiha Brahmani Evam Vidaha Upacharanam Upacharaha Kartavyaha. Yata Anyesham Atmaswarupa Vyatirekena Samadhanadi Upacharaha. Okay. Nopachara Katanchana, we can see in the Bhashya. Nopacharaha means you don't have to do anything in order to attain it. Okay. There is no upachara needed. Or there is no provision to do anything to get it because it is Siddha Vastu. Janma Nimitta Abhavat Sabahya Abhyantaram Ajam Avidya Nimittam Hi Janma Rajju Sarpavat iti Avochama Sacha Vidya Atma Satyanubodhena Niruddhayataha Ataha Ajam. Okay, so Bhashyakara this uses usually whenever he brings this, whenever he sees this Ajam, he will quote a few Shruti Vakyas and then talk about Ajam. Here, this Niruddhatvam itself he uses because the context is there. See, that is why if you see how the Bhashyakara handles each text, okay, he uses the words which are used in that particular text. Okay, he doesn't use here in the previous thing Grahya Grahaka Avidya Krita Maladvayam. Okay, that is because this Karika and this Upanishad has been talking using the words Grahya Grahaka Beda, Dvayavarjitatvam, okay, all those things, right? The Dvida Bhavam that we spoke about, okay, Jnate Dvaitam na Vidyate and all that. And similarly, here in the previous verses, the Karikakara spoke about Niruddha. Niruddhatvam is Swabhavikam. Okay. So the Atma Nishta, when in a Niruddhatvam, when Satyanubodha happens, there is a Niruddhatvam. That means it is Ajam because it is not having any attribute that is established by the Niruddha state. Therefore, it is Ajaha. You see that how he uses the context of this Mandukya Karika to talk about Ajam. Okay, he doesn't use some other setup. The same setup, that's where he is bringing the same set of words from this particular Upanishad only. Janma nimitta abhavat sabhahyabhyantaram ajam. So why is it ajam, unborn? Because there is no janma nimitta. There is, first of all, it needs to, what is giving, getting into birth means what? Means there is some kind of a parinama has to happen. Okay, that is a birth. An egg becomes a chicken. Okay, that is a birth, or the egg is born. Okay, there is some attribute either is created or one attribute changes into another, that is called birth. Okay, whereas this is attributeless, so there is no nimitta. Then there is also, if it has to be born, means it shouldn't exist before a particular time. Okay, is that possible here? No. Why? Because time itself comes into existence only based on this vastu. So we cannot talk about a point in time when it does not exist, a point in time when it exists. So all that is not there. Therefore, it is Janma Nimitta itself is not there. Janma Nimitta Abhavat Sabahya Abhyantaram Ajam. So he adds this Sabahya Abhyantaram. It is both from what is outside and what is inside, it is Ajam. It's not that it is Ajam from inside, whereas the outside world slowly changes. Okay. Sabahya Abhyantaram Ajam, it is only Ekarasa Ghanam. So this Ajam, why we have to say Sabahya Abhyantara Ajam? Look at, let's take some other Siddhanta. Say Saguna Brahman only is truth. There is no Nirguna Niravaya Brahman. There are people who talk about this Advayam, but Visishta Advayam means along with the Gunas, it is Advaitam. So, which means what? The external Gunas are also Ishvara as Gunas, not as Mithya, like we say. So, the Brahman is Kalyana Guna Sampannaha. So, Sriman Narayanaha Eva Brahma is what how they interpret. Whatever Upanishads are saying is Brahma, it is only that Sriman Narayana. And all the gunas are true only. In fact, they are much more potent gunas. Suppose we have karunya, even we have certain karuna, right? Suppose you see a bird struggling, so you may go and help. Or if suppose you see a fellow human being having some problem, you will go and help, you stretch your helping hand, right? We all do. So everybody has a certain level of karuna, but they say when Bhagavan's Karunyam is spoken about, it is at a different level. It is, you can't even imagine the level of that guna, because Tripadasya Amritam Divi, his guna is Ananta guna, all that they speak about. Okay. Now, these are certain qualities which eternally exist in that Brahma. Now, these gunas means what? There are certain changes, isn't it? Then only any guna means there is a change. So right now Bhagavan wasn't having Karunya, then Karunya as in like the expression wasn't there. Then he saw certain things happening in the world. Then his Karunya comes about. Right? Or yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tada atmanam srijamyaham, and Bhagavan has to say. That means he was not disturbed until a certain point. Only when yada yada hi dharmasya hani has happened, after that the Bhagavan thought, okay, now I need to intervene. Means there is a change which is happening, right? In him, some kind of a change, mental process has to happen. Then only he decides, okay, this is the right time to intervene. Now, that means there is a Bahya change. So, there is Abhyantara, it is the same Bhagavan inside, correct? But externally, in the Kalyana Gunas, certain changes are happening. Only then the Bhagavan can decide, now is the time I need to go. Okay, I have to get born as Devaki Putra. So the Ajatvam is not there for the external, you understand? Because now he is born. Even if it is an avatar, as an avatar, he is born. He is born as Devaki Vasudeva's son. Okay, in Mathura. Then he goes to Brindavan, all that. Now this, so he is not Ajam Sabahya Bhyantaram, but from Antarika perspective he is born. He is not born, he is Ajam. Whereas from Bahya perspective, he is still born as one to other, right? Now, but that is what we are saying here. The Ajatvam cannot be inside I am Aja, externally I am not Aja. So here Bhashikara Janma Nimitta Bhavat Sabhahyabhyantaram Ajam, both from inside and outside. There is no birth because there is no inside and outside. Okay. The insideness and outsideness are just adhyasikam on the Swarupa, which is what? Ghanam. Vijnana Ekarasa Ghanam. That was spoken. There is only one Vijnana Ekarasa Ghanam, nothing else. Therefore, the Bhahyam and Abhyantaram are just standpoints. You say Abhyantaram, that is also something in consciousness. The Abhyantara consciousness. Bahya means Bahya consciousness. I is I consciousness. This is this cognition, this consciousness. So all that is there is only one Ekarasa Ganam on which different things come and go. It just flows like in a movie screen, different things come and go. The whole experiences just flow on your Swarupa. That's why Abhisheka Priyaha Shivaha. Your Upasana is, in the case of Shiva, in the Linga, you just keep on doing Abhisheka because everything just flows. It doesn't stick and stay. Okay, this Chaitanya on which everything just keep flowing. Whereas in the case of Vishnu, all the gunas have to be shown because it is, so it's not that we don't do Upasana of Vishnu. The Upasana of Vishnu is as a Sthitikarta. Okay, there the Bhagavan is pervading what we are seeing as the world. So, like that, your Upasana is. Therefore, the Vishnu has to have stationed and glorious things. Okay, he needs to have good alankara because everything is his glory. Bhagavan says, no, sir, vibhutimat sarvam srimadurjitameva. So, all that is there are my glory only. Okay, that glory is Alankara. So Vishnu is Alankara Priya. Whereas in the case of Shiva is Abhisheka, because in that Linga which is Brahman, everything is just flowing, nothing stays. It is just, so it's a different kind of Upasana. Your Upasana is Satyavastu, Sadvastu. And for that we are giving a Rupa. So the Bahyam, Abhyam, Abhyantaram, all these are just flowing. That's it. Everything is just in that one. Ekarasa Chit Gana, Jnana Ekarasa Ghanam. Therefore, the whole thing is Rajju Sarpavate Avidya Nimittam. It is only superimposed. Just like you are seeing a snake in the rope, in the Ekarasa Chit Ganam, Vijnana Ekarasa Ghanam. You are superimposing the world, because if you see this, all that is there is one still Ekarasa Ghana, one Chaitanya alone. Only that resolution happened, then moksha is there. You can't say, I will keep, yeah, I have understood everything is Brahman, all that is there. So, with that understanding, I will go and conduct Vyavahara. Okay. That understanding alone is, you have to have the Nishtha. Then only that Jnanam is available to you. Otherwise, it's like somewhere behind. Okay. So, that Nishtha is what here is spoken about. All the time it should be available, then you are Jivan Mukta. Otherwise it is okay, you spend some time, like you went to temple and all that. This is also certain thing, every now and then we listen to it. Here the Rajju Sarpatvam, that whole, understand it and be in that Nishtha. Avidya nimittam hi janma Rajju Sarpavate sa cha avidya atma satyanubodhena niruddha yataha. That avidya is gone when Atma Satyanubodhena. Niruddha means it's contained, is what but actually it is gone. Okay, that avidya, because there is a Badita Anuvritti, so you can say it is contained. Baditam because you are still able to do some transaction in the world, despite removing all the duality from it. So you can say Niruddha. But the avidya is pretty much, you should say, is gone. Be Satyanubodha. Because avidya itself is asatya. When Satyanubodha happens, there is no asatyam. Therefore, it is ajam. Ataha eva anidram. So, when because it is ajam, it is without nidra also, because all the time it is effulgent, alupta drik. Even when you are sleeping, the sleep is being witnessed. Avidya lakshana anadihi maya. Why anadihi? I don't know. Anadi maya nidra swapat prabuddham. Okay, I don't think that ir has to be there. Avidya Lakshana, Lakshana Anadi. Yeah, Anadi Maya.
Lakshanadi. Lakshanadi. Adi. Like
Yeah, yeah. Lakshanadi, but the ir is there, no?
Lakshanadi. Yeah.
Lakshanadihi can't come, no? I thought it's a
Ah,
Samasta.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. There is no repa in the book.
Ah, oh, okay. Here that repa is here. Okay. Avidya Lakshanadi Maya Nidra Swapat Prabuddham. So Avidya Lakshana Adipadate. Okay, Avidya Kama Karma, all these things. Maya Nidra, Maya Nidra Swapat Prabuddham. So because he is waken up from sleep, then where is Swapna? Okay, that is what is, that is how he is. Avidya Ajam Anidram Aswapnam. Okay, the Aswapnam Anidram Aswapnam. Anidram is Ataha Aswapnam. That is, he gives a Hetu Hetumat Sambandha here. Okay, he is Anidram because he is woken up from the Avidya Lakshana Anadi Maya. That Nidra, that is Nidra only, because you are not awake to your Swarupa. Because you are not awake to your Swarupa, it is like sleeping. Okay, so Avidya Lakshanadi Maya Nidra Swapat, that kind of a Swapat, sleep, once the person has waken to what? Advaya Swarupena Atmana. In the form of Atma, which is Advaya Swarupa, the person is woken. So the sleep which was not recognizing one Swarupa is gone. So once sleep is gone, where is the case of Swapna? Okay. Ataha Aswapnam. And he says, Aprabodha Krite hi asya nama rupe prabodha chate rajju sarpavate vinashte. Okay, so the whole thing is gone. The Nama Rupa is gone. So there is Aswapnam, that is also Anamakam Arupakam. Okay, the Nama Rupa is gone. Nama Rupa's reality. Okay, Aprabodha Kritehi Asya Nama Rupe. So you can ask Vachalambanam Vikaro Namadheyam. But Namadeyam recognition, Nama Matram, the recognition is there. That is what is Jnanam. So how can you say Nama is also gone? But Bhashikara says, Aprabodha kritehi asya Nama rupe. The Nama is distinguishing something from another. Okay. You give a name because you need to distinguish it from another vastu. When Nanatvam itself is not there, there is no Nama. So the Nama Rupa, the Rupa also is only as though Rupa. Prabodhacha te Rajju Sarpavad Vinashte. See this Karika, Tara
Shamitamji, that
actually.
is Anadi Maya only. That's given here in the side, Hindi version. Anadi Maya only is given.
Anadimaya only. Yeah, that
Yeah.
Repa is wrong there. Yeah. Aprabodha kritehi asya Nama Rupe. Prabodhacha te Rajju Sarpavat Vinashte. So there is a Vinashti he is talking about. There is a Nashta. Okay. Nashta of Namarupa. Rajju Sarpavate Vinashte Prabodhat. So it is is there any Nashta? Is there any Vinasha in the case of Rajju Sarpa? Does the Sarpa get does there is there any Nasha of Sarpa? No. It is only falsification. Okay, here also there is no Namarupa Nasha. It is just like Rajju Sarpa Vati, just like the Sarpa in the Rajju, how the Prabodhat Nashtam Tadaeva, the Namarupe, Aprabodhakrita Namarupa is Nashtam in Prabodhaswarupa. Okay, it is falsified. It was never there, is the Jnana. Okay, therefore there is no, it is not there. There is no Nashtam here. Okay, Anamakam Arupakam is its Swarupa. न नाम्ना अभिधीयते ब्रह्म रूप्यते वा न केनचित् प्रकारेण इति अनामकम्. Okay, so see now Bhashikara also, even though he says vinashtam, but in the next he explains na namna abhidiyate brahma. There is no abhidana abhideya sambandha, because if you have to give a name, that name should mean something to you. Okay, in fact after until you know that the word itself, it doesn't go and actually sit anywhere. Brahma, until you know what is Brahman, this Brahma word also, it's very vague. Okay, to start with. Okay, somebody thinks it's a god. Sarvam Brahma means people will think, okay, there is something which is sitting inside. Okay, so all those, but it doesn't really, you have only certain imaginations, but actually the Brahma doesn't sit on something consistently. See, if you really analyze it, right? So today there will be thousands of people who are listening to Vedanta, but imagine, no, each one's understanding of Brahma will be very different. Okay, see, when I say cat, all the lakhs and crores of people who understand the English, their mind about cat more or less will sit on same thing. Okay, there may be slight variance. Okay, depending on what kind of cats they have seen. And if you say tree, more or less everyone will think. But when I say Brahma, right? You can talk to people, they will all use the same Satyam Jnanam and all that, but if you imagine, their understanding will be highly subjective, because you really don't you haven't, unless the person has gained the Jnanam, there is why I am saying that is because this Namna Abhidiyate, our immediate thinking will be, oh, we know there is some word called Brahma, and roughly we all know what is Brahma, Jagat Karanam, this, that, right? But actually it doesn't resolve into a same thing for everyone, because there is no, until a person gains jnanam, everybody is having certain imagination about it based on all the words they have seen and how they have assimilated, and from who they have heard, and how they have heard it explained. Depending on it, everybody will have, I'm not even talking about a non-advaitis for whom Brahman is actually some namarupa sitting somewhere and all that. Okay, that's not what you're talking. Even Advaita students will have so the namna abhidiyate, even though we use different words, atma, brahman, pratyegatma, all that, but it actually doesn't go and perfectly sit on something which you immediately get to. Okay, and until you gain that jnanam, so the namna abhidanam is only to start getting you some clarity about it. Therefore na namna abhidiyate brahma rupyate va na kenachit prakarena, anyway it is without any form. So Rupyate, however, all forms are Brahman only. Brahman is not any one form. Rupyadeva na kenachit prakarena iti anamakam arupakam cha tat. Now he quotes one Shruti. Yato vacho nivartante ityadi Shrutehe. Shruti also confirms that where the words bounce back. Kincha Sagrid Vibhatam Sada eva Vibhatam Sada Bharupakam. Okay, the Sagrid Vibhatam Sada Bharupam. Sada eva Vibhatam. That Vibhatam Sakriti is Sada. Okay. And Vibhati is Bhaswarupam. That all the time is in the form of effulgence. In it, it is never Jada. Atma, this Brahman is never Jada. All Jadatvam is lighted up by it. Like we have, I don't know if I spoke about, I would have definitely spoken about the Natakadeepa Prakaranam of Panchadashi. Generally, it's a very apt example. Right? All the drama scenes on the stage, everything is lighted up by one big lamp. Okay, there is one torch. Torch means in those days they will have a big cup in which they will have some threads and all that, and then burn it, right? So Panchadashikara speaks about there was no electricity that time, so they used to have one big flame, okay, in the back wall of the stage, and the stage is empty first. Then people come and a drama happens, a lot of emotional scenes happen. There is hasya, humor, then there is tragedy, there is sadness, and then dance and singing. Everything happens on the stage. Okay, every now and then one scene gets over, there is nothing on the stage, only empty stage is there. Again, next scene happens. First scene is probably comedy, the second scene has certain fights, third scene will have some tragedy, fourth scene will again have some happy scenes, like that it goes on, and then finally drama gets over, there is nobody on the stage. But all through, whether the drama was going on or empty stage was there, whether the scene was tragedy or it was humor or it was fight or it was dance and drama, dance and singing, okay, everything was lighted up by that light which is there on the back wall, but nobody gives their mind to that light. In fact, you are seeing the empty stage only through that light. You are seeing the drama also through that light only. Okay, whether something is there or not, the light is all the time there, but it misses your attention. Like that, he talks, that imagery he brings out. It's the same thing. The Sada Bhaswarupam, all the time, it is lighting up everything, including your sleep or the things which before you were born, after you are gone. It's all the time there. This Namarupa is all incidental. The Swarupa is there. Oh, now I have learned it, so I don't have to worry about anything. I'll live my life however I want. If you conclude like that, then what? You are not really, the jnanam is not available to you. Okay. Swamiji used to say it needs to be available. Then only then the benefit is there. Otherwise, yeah, it removes a certain fear and stuff. If you just believe in it, okay, that also it gives certain benefit. But the fact you recognize and you are in Nishta, then you are totally free. Sada eva vibhatam sada bhaswarupam. Okay, that imagery I spoke because of this sada bhaswarupam. All the time it is lighting up everything. Agrahana, anyata agrahana, avir bhava, tirobhava varjitatvat. Okay, then any absence of grahanam or making an error or okay, tirobhava, hiding and all that, avirbhavanam, birth, it is beyond all that. It is, there is no change. Every change is lighted up by it. Okay, itself it doesn't change. There is no grahanam, agrahanam, anyata grahanam, nothing. Okay, grahana agrahane hi ratriyahani. In fact, the grahanam he doesn't say here. If you see agrahana, anyata agrahana, Avirbhava, Tirobhava. Okay. So this Grahanam, he doesn't explicitly call out saying it is, there is no Grahanam also. But in the next line he says, Grahana Agrahanehi Ratri Ahani. Tamascha Vidyalakshanam, Avidyalakshanam Sada Aprabhava Aprabhatatve Karanam. Okay. The Aprabhatam, the ignorance, is only due to avidya. Okay, so the grahanam is ahani and agrahanam is like ratri. Tadabhavate nitya chaitanya bha rupatvat cha yuktam sagrid vibhatamiti. All the time it is glowing. Therefore, this grahanam he left it. Okay, the even though the grahanatvam is adhyasikam on it, but because it is sada bhaswarupam, okay, it's a nitya chaitanya swarupam. Therefore, it is all the time glowing. Aprabhava, aprabhatatve, karanam is only avidya, but prabhatatvam is swabhavam. Ataha eva sarvam cha tate jnapti swarupam chaiti sarvajnam. The sarvajnam is sarvam cha nyascha. So it is sarvam and it is jnaptihi. Okay. So that's how that kind of a samasa. Sarvam Janati also you can say if we are talking about Ishvara. Okay. Here we are not talking about Ishvara. We are talking about Param Brahma, which is Nirguna Niravayava Swarupa, not Jagat Karanam Brahma. So you can't say Sarvajna means he knows everything. Okay. That is only if it is about Ishvara. The Jagat Karanam Brahma you talk about, then Sarvajna can be Sarvam Janati. Okay. Yugapat Sarvam Janati, because it's the whole Srishti is Bhagavan's Jnanam only. That is when you are accepting the Srishti and talking about it. Here we are talking about Nirguna Niravaya Nirakara Swarupa. Therefore, Sarvam cha Nyascha. Bhashikara says, Ataha eva Sarvam cha tad Nyapti Swarupam cha iti Sarvajnam. Naiha Brahmani evam vide upacharanam upacharaha kartavyaha yata अन्येषाम् आत्मस्वरूप व्यतिरेकेण समाधानादि उपचारः. Okay, for others like yoga, chittavritti nirodha and all that. Okay, chittavritti nirodha, you have to do, you give a certain reality to all that. See, that is the problem in most of these kriyas. Okay, sudarshana kriya. I mean, I'm not particularly against any one of that, or not, nor am I contesting the utility of any of those practices. Okay, I'm not talking about that. But when we are talking about vidya, okay, the Brahma Vidya, some of these kriyas, what they are trying to do, okay, these kriyas are giving a certain, yeah, I mean, more than the what it has, that kind of a reality to all the problems. And then the whole meditation and concentration is to try to keep your mind away from it. Okay, most of the people you go and all of us in our camps and all, you will hear. And I was seeing some videos of late, even to some other Swamis. There is one big video which is going viral where the Swami is, when somebody is asking the question, how to keep the mind away from all these thoughts in this Kriya or something. Okay. And then there is a whole process which is spoken about. Good. I have nothing against it. But then what are we doing here? This kind of tricks, right? These techniques, it gives a lot of reality to all the thoughts and it tries to ward off those thoughts from you and keep your mind focused on a certain aspect, okay, which can be a object of meditation, which is okay, which can work for a period of time, and you come out of it again, all the problems come back to you. Okay, because you can't completely ward them off, right? Where will it go away? It is still going to be there. All those things cannot give you this yoga chittavritti nirodha and all that themselves cannot give you moksha, because for you to gain moksha you should be totally free, not temporarily free. Therefore this upachara, all these kind of, see here the context is there, that's why I'm talking about. Bhashikara says yata anyesham Atmaswarupa Vyatirekena Samadhanadi Upacharha. So this Chitta Samadhanam has to be there for them. Only until that Samadhanam is there, they are happy. Okay, the moment it is gone, they come out of it, that is again, that Samadhanam is gone means that dukkha comes back. Okay. Similarly, here in Brahmani Evam Vide Upaja, in this kind of a thing, when you recognize everything is nothing but the same Jyoti, okay, there is no Nama Rupa, nothing. When that recognition is there, then where is the problem? Any problem comes, that also is that Atma Jyoti only. No? So you can see that fact. When your mind is disturbed, you can see the fact, oh, that disturbance also is that Brahman. Once you start seeing that in everything that happens, okay, then that jnanam becomes available to you. That is called nishta, Brahma nishta. So because you can't avoid external situations. Okay, in fact, certain emotions that in your mind brings out, it will take time for them to settle down for permanently, forever. Okay, that a stage where nothing comes out like that. Okay, will come. Okay, for sadhus also, over time they become totally, what to say, undisturbed by anything which happens. That will come, but that will come only as you do this nishta. Okay, that nishta is to see the fact. That is the nishta. We are not talking about samadhanam, chitta vritti nirodha and all that, but seeing the fact that every vritti is Brahma. Okay, emotion is Brahma, anger is Brahma, anything, right? Any external things happening. So you see that, keep seeing that fact. Then that is the upachara, more or less, okay, for us. Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhavatvat Brahmanaha Katanchana na Katanchidapi Kartavya Sambhavaha Avidya Nasha Ityartaha. Okay, it is Nitya Shuddham, Nitya Buddham, Nitya Muktam. Okay, so Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhava. Therefore, there is no kartatvam, kartavyatvam in it. Okay, so the because so we have the manifestations, right? All these manifestations are uh, are superimposed. Okay, because it is self-effulgent, all these things become evident. Atma alone is self-evident. Therefore, once you recognize that fact, okay, all that becomes evident to you is dependent. Anything which is dependent is mithya only. Swatasiddha vastu only is independent. Therefore, it is shuddham. Okay, so it is nitya shuddham, nitya buddham, nitya bhuktam. Therefore, katanchana na katanchidapi kartavya sambhavaha avidya nashe ityartaha. Okay. Sarvabhilapa vigatas sarvachinta samuttitah suprashantas sakrijyotihi samadhirachalo bhayaha. He proceeds in this anamakatwadi uktartha siddhaye hetum. Okay, that's how Bhashikara connects this. Okay, this anamakatvam, arupakatvam, how does that siddhi happen? Okay, for that is this verse. Sarva abhilapa vigataha, sarva chinta samuttitaha, suprashantaha, sakrit jyotihi, sada jyoti. Sakrit vibhatam only, sakrit jyoti also. Samuttitaha. Okay. Utthanam. Samadhihi achalaha abhayaha. Samadhihi samadhiyate asmin. That is Brahma. Brahma itself is called Samadhihi. Achalaha avikriyaha abhayaha. That which is the one that provides, that removes bhaya. Same vikriya bhavat abhayaha. When talk about, we'll see in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद.
धन्यवादः.